Hey Raiders fans, we're back with an exclusive video and the latest updates on our beloved Las Vegas Raiders. Before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. That way, you'll always stay up to date with breaking news and exclusive content. The NFL world was absolutely set ablaze this week as whispers around the league materialized into what many are calling one of the boldest defensive moves in recent memory. The Las Vegas Raiders, who have been quietly restructuring their roster over the past seasons, reportedly pulled off a stunning move that left their division rivals, the Denver Broncos, stunned and scrambling. Sources suggest that the Raiders didn't just approach Patrick Surtain II. They offered a deal that was simply impossible to ignore, turning the tables on any team that thought they had an inside track. Insiders claim that the negotiation rooms were filled with tension, drama, and a sense of inevitability, as if the football gods themselves had intervened to tilt the scales. Rumors now hint that this acquisition isn't just about filling a gap in the secondary. It's a calculated statement, a clear message that the Raiders intend to dominate the AFC West with a blend of tactical prowess and sheer audacity. The Broncos, who have been quietly building their roster and nurturing young talent, reportedly felt blindsided by this maneuver. Friends close to league executives suggest that the Broncos' front office, while confident in their plans, had not anticipated such a dramatic pivot from Las Vegas, igniting internal discussions about whether they underestimated their rivals' willingness to go all in on elite talent. Patrick Surtain II, known for his remarkable instincts, lockdown coverage, and ability to read quarterbacks like an open book, reportedly viewed multiple offers before making his decision, and the Raiders' pitch seemed to resonate on multiple levels. Beyond the financials, which sources suggest were generous enough to make any elite cornerback pause, the Raiders apparently sold a vision of defensive dominance, a scheme tailored to showcase certain strengths while surrounding him with complementary players capable of elevating the entire unit. Insiders say that the Raiders' coaching staff made a compelling case during in-person meetings, illustrating how Surtain would not just be another cog, but the central figure in a reinvigorated secondary. The buzz around Las Vegas now revolves around what this signing signals for their defensive identity and, more broadly, for the AFC West hierarchy. Meanwhile, league insiders indicate that Surtain's decision might also have been influenced by his desire to play in a system that allows creativity, freedom, and the opportunity to be a visible leader on and off the field. Rumors swirl that this move could catalyze a series of domino effects, as other teams evaluate their cornerback situations in light of this audacious acquisition. Observers note that the Raiders' aggressive approach reflects a shift in mindset, signaling that they're not merely participants in the divisional battles. They aim to reshape the competitive landscape entirely through high-impact acquisitions. The aftermath of the announcement has generated a flurry of reactions across social media, fan forums, and sports talk shows, with debates raging about the implications for both Las Vegas and Denver. Many analysts point out that while the Broncos have a talented roster, the Raiders' ability to swoop in and secure a top-tier cornerback sends a strong psychological message. The whispers in the league corridors suggest that this might trigger an internal reassessment of strategies, priorities, and even personnel as teams consider how to respond to a suddenly reinforced rival. Sources intimate that locker rooms in Denver are abuzz with discussions, some filled with disbelief, others with motivation to prove that their own developmental strategies can withstand such bold moves. Speculation is also rife about potential trade scenarios and complementary acquisitions that could further complicate the AFC West landscape. The Raiders, for their part, are reportedly reveling in the optics of the deal, understanding that Surtain's presence alone elevates their perception across the league and fan base alike. Rumors suggest that merchandising, ticket sales, and brand visibility for Las Vegas could experience a notable spike as fans rally around the narrative of a team unafraid to rewrite the rules and seize marquee talent with decisiveness and flair. Analysts continue to debate whether this move is a long-term strategic masterstroke or a high-stakes gamble, with massive expectations riding on immediate results. The timing of the announcement adds yet another layer to the intrigue, as NFL insiders hint that negotiations have been ongoing for months, meticulously orchestrated behind closed doors. Sources claim that both parties demonstrated patience, weighing not just financial incentives, but also alignment of philosophy, leadership potential, and long-term career trajectory. The league rumor mill suggests that SURTAIN's decision might reflect a new wave of player empowerment, where elite athletes exert increasing influence over shaping teams' identities rather than merely reacting to offers. Observers point out that the Raiders' management displayed exceptional foresight in recognizing both the talent and intangible leadership qualities that SURTAIN brings, ensuring that this signing is more than a statistical boost. It's a cultural and strategic statement. Whispered chatter indicates that rival general managers were both impressed and alarmed by the Raiders' ability to orchestrate a deal that feels as much about optics and momentum as it does about on-field impact. Behind-the-scenes accounts claim that internal discussions in Las Vegas emphasize that acquiring SURTAIN could serve as a catalyst for additional acquisitions, signaling to free agents and draft prospects that the Raiders are a destination for top-tier talent with ambitions to dominate. Meanwhile, murmurs suggest that Broncos scouts and coaches are revisiting tape, considering whether their own defensive strategies can be adapted to counter what is now a formidable challenge from their longtime divisional adversaries. SURTAIN's move to the Raiders also has analysts and pundits debating the larger narrative of the AFC West and how this affects playoff projections, divisional supremacy, and the balance of power across the conference. Sources indicate that even without the official confirmation of other pending deals, the ripple effects of this signing alone have shifted the perception of Las Vegas from a team on the fringe of contention to a serious threat capable of challenging any opponent with both strategic depth and star power. Rumors have emerged that this signing could embolden the Raiders to pursue complementary defensive pieces, either through free agency or trade, creating a domino effect that might force the Broncos and other rivals into reactive moves that disrupt their previously laid out plans. League insiders hint that this bold acquisition might also inspire a psychological edge, as SURTAIN's reputation and playmaking abilities could intimidate quarterbacks and influence offensive schemes across the conference. Analysts and commentators continue to speculate on how the Raiders' defensive backfield will gel, the chemistry between SURTAIN and existing stars, and whether the coaching staff can fully leverage this new cornerstone. Fans are particularly abuzz, with social media amplifying both excitement and rivalry-fueled speculation, creating a sense that the NFL offseason has suddenly transformed into a theater of dramatic intrigue. All signs point to this being more than a signing. It's a move that sets the tone for how the Raiders plan to assert themselves in the league hierarchy over the coming seasons. The ripple effects of this signing also extend beyond the confines of Las Vegas or Denver, as whispers suggest that the NFL community at large is taking notice of a trend that merges aggressive talent acquisition with strategic audacity. Sources intimate that other teams may now reevaluate how they approach marquee players, weighing the necessity of bold, immediate action against the traditional, slow-building strategies of roster construction. Rumors suggest that SURTAIN's move could symbolize a shift in the balance of power, where teams willing to make decisive, high-profile moves may gain both competitive and cultural leverage within the league. Analysts speculate that the Broncos' reaction in the coming months will be telling, as they determine whether to counter with their own strategic gambles or to double down on patient, developmental approaches to maintain divisional competitiveness. Insiders hint that the narrative surrounding this acquisition has been carefully curated to maximize both fan engagement and psychological impact on opponents, creating a multi-layered effect that extends beyond the gridiron. Observers note that the combination of talent, optics, and timing in this deal could inspire a wave of similar moves across the league, where strategic audacity becomes as crucial as draft picks or salary cap management. In short, this acquisition is being framed not just as a football transaction, but as a cultural and tactical statement, one that positions the Raiders as a team unafraid to challenge norms and redefine expectations in a highly competitive NFL landscape. As the dust settles from this blockbuster announcement, speculation is already running rampant regarding the broader implications for both Las Vegas and Denver, with insiders suggesting that the ripple effects may extend far beyond a single roster upgrade. Sources indicate that the Raiders' front office, emboldened by their successful acquisition of Patrick Surtain II, may now be exploring additional avenues to reinforce both defensive and offensive units, signaling a willingness to leverage momentum in ways that few teams dare to attempt. Whispers around the league suggest that this move could spark a domino effect in the AFC West, prompting rivals to rethink long-term strategies, reevaluate free agent targets, and even adjust draft priorities in anticipation of heightened competition. Analysts argue that Surtain's arrival may not only enhance the Raiders' on-field performance, but also alter the psychological dynamics of the division, as quarterbacks, coordinators, and coaches now must factor in the presence of an elite cornerback capable of shutting down top-tier receivers. Sources close to both organizations indicate that the Broncos, while maintaining confidence in their developmental pipeline, are quietly reassessing their personnel strategies, acknowledging that failing to respond decisively could result in a significant competitive disadvantage. Meanwhile, league insiders speculate that the narrative surrounding this move has already shifted fan expectations, branding the Raiders as aggressive contenders who refuse to follow the conventional blueprint, and that this perception alone carries immense strategic value. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Las Vegas Raiders. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Rumors suggest that Surtain's decision was influenced not only by the financial terms and defensive fit, but also by intangibles such as leadership opportunities, team culture, and long-term visibility, all of which the Raiders reportedly emphasized during a series of meticulously orchestrated meetings. Sources intimate that Las Vegas painted a compelling picture, highlighting a defensive scheme tailored to Surtain's strengths, a coaching philosophy encouraging autonomy and creativity, and a locker room environment conducive to elite-level mentorship. The whispers further indicate that this holistic approach, combining tangible metrics with nuanced cultural fit, ultimately tipped the scales in Las Vegas' favor, leaving the Broncos scrambling to adjust to an outcome they had not anticipated. Analysts speculate that Surtain's presence may catalyze broader shifts within the Raiders' secondary, encouraging young players to elevate their performance while creating a domino effect that enhances the overall defensive synergy. Rumors from insiders suggest that this acquisition was a calculated gamble, one designed not merely to improve personnel, but to generate momentum, signal ambition, and assert a psychological edge over divisional rivals. Social media chatter reflects a mixture of excitement, envy, and anticipation, indicating that this signing has ignited conversations extending well beyond the technicalities of roster construction, tapping into broader narratives about dominance, strategy, and identity within the NFL. Insiders hint that this move may also impact the Raiders' long-term strategy, influencing decisions regarding cap management, future draft selections, and potential trade scenarios, as the organization leverages the acquisition of a marquee cornerback to establish both immediate competitiveness and enduring relevance. Rumors suggest that the timing of the signing was deliberate, designed to maximize both tactical and psychological impact, sending a clear signal to competitors that Las Vegas is willing to take bold, decisive actions in pursuit of divisional supremacy. Analysts speculate that rival front offices are now forced to consider reactive maneuvers, weighing whether to pursue high-profile signings or double down on developmental strategies, while internal chatter indicates that Broncos executives are evaluating defensive alignments to counteract Surtain's presence. Sources intimate that this acquisition could also influence the free agent market, as other elite players may perceive the Raiders as a destination for serious contenders willing to invest in championship-level talent. Observers note that this ripple effect may extend to coaching staff, game planning, and even long-term roster philosophies, suggesting that the impact of this single transaction may reverberate for multiple seasons. The league buzz, fueled by insiders and fan speculation alike, frames the Raiders as architects of a new competitive narrative, one where bold, high-impact moves define identity and ambition. Whispers indicate that Patrick SURTAIN's arrival may redefine how the Raiders' opponents approach offensive schemes, with coordinators potentially altering passing strategies, receiver matchups, and protection plans to account for the presence of an elite shutdown cornerback. Sources suggest that SURTAIN's skill set allows him not only to neutralize top targets, but also to create turnover opportunities, apply pressure in key situations, and influence the overall flow of a game in ways that extend beyond conventional statistical measures. Analysts speculate that this strategic advantage could amplify the Raiders' defensive effectiveness, particularly in high-stakes divisional matchups, where nuanced adjustments and psychological dominance can prove decisive. Rumors hint that the Broncos may be compelled to revisit quarterback development, timing, and offensive schemes, acknowledging that ignoring SURTAIN's influence could yield critical vulnerabilities. Inside chatter indicates that the Raiders are aware of the psychological dimension of this signing, recognizing that elite athletes carry both tangible performance value and intangible influence over opponent strategies and mindsets. Fans, social media personalities, and commentators alike are already projecting scenarios in which SURTAIN's presence alters game outcomes, playoff implications, and the balance of power within the AFC West, underscoring the multifaceted impact of what might initially appear to be a singular personnel acquisition. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Las Vegas Raiders, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.